I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder. And all the doubters, they're just young downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought.
I can tell you that 7 years after Freddie Gray, that was 2015, spring, April, May. This is 2022. Communities like Sandtown, all we saw then and now in terms of investment was a renovated Western District Police Station and a new funeral home. That's what West Baltimore got. A new police station and a new funeral home. What kind of optics are they? Was Freddie Gray any different than 1968 Baltimore riots? Dr. King's passing, killing, murder? This is the same?
No, it wasn't. I mean, I think, well, first of all, people who are being violent and burning, that's, you know, all that's the same. But the point is what was the cause and what were they attempting to register?
I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns.
I love you.
They deserve it now. It's
got next. And on me club.
It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns.
Good morning. First name's Doni, last name's Glover. Entered the winner for the long haul, baby. I hope that you're well. Hope you had a restful night. And if you had to work, then I hope you get to have a restful rest. Excuses. Excuses. I got this from former State Senator Barbara Robinson. Excuses are tools of the incompetent, which lead to monuments of nothingness. And those who indulge in them will be seldom capable of anything. Let me give it to you again. Excuses are tools of the incompetent, which lead to monuments of nothingness, and those who indulge in them will be seldom capable of anything. We gotta get one thing straight here. My colors ain't right. Bear with me a second. Got to have the right colors. Brighten this thing up a little bit. There we go. All right. So we're talking about excuses this morning. Good morning, Nina. Nina and I went to Matthew Alexander Henson Elementary, and we lived on the greatest street in Baltimore. Ask me what that is. And all the way from Tampa Bay, Michael Randolph. So I wrote a post yesterday, and I got to share it with you because it's been on my heart. I got a message, so to speak, and may have been talking about me and maybe not, but they were the post that I saw had to do with shaming our young people. Shaming, it started off something like this: not everybody's made for college. And I've made some statements. I've made some statements that I'm very pro-education, very pro college. I'm pro trade school. But even in trade school, you got to be able to read, write, and count. And what I'm getting, so let me just read what I shared yesterday, because I meant it from the bottom of my heart. Are you ready? Because I'm going to give it to you raw. 60 is not passing. Did you catch that? 60, 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 60 to pass. 60 is not passing. It means you got a little more than half right. Stop dummying down education. Maybe everybody's not going to college, but that's no excuse for not learning to read, write, and count. This is not shaming. These are facts. This is not shaming. These are facts. Okay, let me just finish it. Even with trade school, you still have to know the basics, given all our ancestors endured just to learn to read. Don't tell me what our kids cannot do. Wrong answer, in my honest opinion. We can do anything to which we apply ourselves, period. Because that's what we're doing. We're giving our kids a way out. Let me tell you something. Like you, I want the best for my children. But we got to be careful with that, because some people, I want my kids to have the things that I did not have. Well, maybe your ass ain't need them. That's one way. Did anybody give you anything? And if they did give it to you, did you appreciate it? Or was there an elder in your circle who said, you're going to work for it? If you want it, then you go work for it. And until then, I guess you just won't have it. We all want things. Back in my day, we were glad to have a fresh pair of Jack Purcells. Amen? A fresh pair of Jack Purcells. You had a fresh, and oh my God, if you had two pairs, like a pair of white ones and a pair of blue ones, my God, you were rich. But that really wasn't the focus back then. Everybody wanted nicer things, but you had what your parents had. And if your parents were, struggling to give you the things you wanted, prayerfully, it created in you a desire to go out and work yourself. The elementary school, ain't nobody working away. You could shovel some snow, rake some leaves, of course, your chores around the house. We had chores. Do we give children chores today? We had chores. You better not go outside on Saturday and you ain't polished that furniture, you ain't did the bathroom. And the kitchen ain't clean. If you haven't washed the dishes, the kitchen ain't clean. You can do the floor, the table, but you got dishes in the sink. You ain't clean nothing. I had one of them daddies that'll wake you up 2 o'clock in the morning. And you did not want that 2 o'clock wake up call, because that means that you got to take the trash out. You forgot to take the trash out. And where we lived at, we had train tracks behind us, and they had pretty nice sized rats. And before you could go down there and dump the trash, you had to kick the fence to make sure the rats knew you were coming and would move out your damn way. Otherwise, and I never had no problem, kick the fence, rats go away. Kick the fence, rats go away. But still, it was terrifying when you think about it. Then I'm going to send you a link so you can come on the show. Okay. Kevin Briscoe. You left Baltimore and went down to Jacksonville. City Hall has been taken over by the homeless. Well, I'd rather them take over City Hall than Sandtown. Okay, Michael Randolph, pretty excited about Christina Flowers. Good morning, Quandra. You know, even when I look at the homeless, I was out in Portland, Oregon. Are these excuses? Portland's majority white. I think it's 10% black out there. I've never seen so many homeless people in my life. And behind this homelessness is quite often drug addiction. Out there on the West Coast, they're big on crystal meth. To give you an idea, if crack keeps you high for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, crystal meth to keep you high for 3, 4, 5 days. They say people get high and take a car apart. That's what that crystal meth do. So we got people walking the streets of Sandtown all night. People who don't match the majority demographic. All hours of the night. Police don't see nothing. I regularly got to check my alley. Why? Because we had a fire next door. 3 houses on fire 2017. So I'm not just saying these things to be saying them. I'm telling you the reality of people in Baltimore City, what we deal with that's not talked about on the mainstream news. That's why I talk about it. Because I know other people experience the same thing. We want the same respect that people in Bolton Hill get. Addicts over there in Bolton Hill that make a phone call, ding, ding, it's gone. Not the same as Sandtown. It's almost expected. Asked the white guy, why are you here? He said, this is where the drugs are. No, the real truth is this is where the drug boys allow you to be. Because the drug boys could put foot down too. I heard a young drug dealer boy say, respect him, he's my client. And I said, what kind of stupid are you? Respect him, he's my client. Never mind what you're doing to the neighborhood. Never mind what you're doing to this addict and the other addicts. This little Negro said, respect him, he's my client. Well, maybe you need to go somewhere else. Maybe you need to go and sell it in front of your door, Mr. Man with the clientele. So let me get back to these excuses. Pennsylvania Avenue, on any Sunday, you're going to catch a mob of dirt bikes. What gets me is the cat that can ride a wheelie through the middle of traffic, don't hit nobody. But meanwhile, you just slowed everybody else. We got to make sure we don't hit your dumb ass. Somebody did get killed recently. Dirt bike boy. God rest your soul. But you can navigate a dirt bike, but you can't sit your ass in class. And here's the real clincher. A cat will go to jail after multiple times getting locked up and finally get that GED. But you want to tell me, oh, don't shame them. But you learned over that jail after you got that serious bit how to read and write. You finally sat down and learned. Why couldn't you do that some time ago when you had every opportunity without the threat of law enforcement standing over your shoulder? Why couldn't you just sit your ass down and learn something before? You couldn't learn, but you learned how to put together a dirt bike. Maybe I'm missing something. I think we do what we want to do. I knew a young lady. She had two things going on. She wanted to go to college and she wanted to go to a party. She could not find the admissions office, but she could find a party in another city. We do what we want to do. I'm not making excuses for dumb people. And if you can't learn, there are places to help people with learning disabilities. But trifling is a different set of, trifling starts at home. I saw a young man yesterday, he had a little boy, I think his son had to be about 3, 4. inquisitive young man. We're just walking from around the corner. They were in front of me. And you could hear this young man, 4 years old, brain popping. Dad's talking to him, conversing. And I say, man, keep up the great work. He said, man, I'm trying. It's hard. I say, man, you doing it. Most of it is just being there. Your parent didn't have to be Albert Einstein back in the day. Your parent just had to care. And you knew the parents who cared at the school because they showed up. Are you showing up at your kid's school? Your grandkids' school? Are we really helping our young people making excuses? Are we going up to the school? You know, me and my one of my child's mothers weren't seeing eye to eye. But I could go to the school, and that's where I would put my time and energy. You can't stop me. What better place for a dad to be than right there in the school? Let me tell you what happens when a dad shows up at school. Mothers too. Especially when you sit there and you engage and you peep the scene. But when you keep going up to the school on a positive note just to see your kid, everybody takes notice. The other kids take notice. The teachers take notice. Sometimes other parents take notice because invariably one of the kids in your kid's class is going to tell his mother or father or both, Mr. Donnie came up there to see your son. Over time, these little kids become your kids. Over time, you see these little kids go from 12 years old to 17 years old, and they still remember you. Mr. Donnie, hey, Mr. Donnie. Now, I don't know about you, but in these streets of Baltimore, it's nice to have some young compadres out there. Oh, that's Mr. Don. Respect, love, encouragement. I wish all of the kids in my son's class success. And to my knowledge, they have a very high rate. This was up in New Song. No matter what, we can get to that kid's class. No matter what, we have to be involved in those young people's education, no matter what. And it has to be the entire village. But often we are hypocritical. We play like we really care about these kids when a lot of the parents haven't grown up or haven't matured themselves. You can't teach what you don't know. I was thinking about writing a book once, last summer actually, and the name of the book, and I'm just speaking, the title that I came up with, and you never do this as an author, so maybe this ain't gonna be. But the title I came up with is Their Mothers Didn't Love Them. That's what's going on with Baltimore. Their mothers didn't love them. Now, I mean, their mothers didn't feed them, didn't hug them and say, I love you, but didn't properly. If you're giving your kid everything you didn't have, that's a mistake because nobody gave you nothing. Typically, our parents had some wisdom, some common sense. You had to work for it. You had to earn it. Our parents didn't send us to school with $200 belt buckles on because it was stupid. If your time and energy has gone into a $200 belt buckle, then that says right there where your values are, and you might as well just go ahead and do your thing now because you already got it figured out. You got to get some education. You want to learn, I mean, for instance, let me just give you a pop quiz. You ready? I was thinking about this yesterday. Here's a world map, a globe. We come from, this one right here, we come from Africa. Mother Africa. Now, how many countries can we name in Africa? How many countries can you name in Africa? More importantly, how many countries are in Africa? No, you can't drive to Africa. It's a continent. You got to get in the plane, about 18 hours on the flight. 3 hours over the Sahara Desert, depending on where you go. We learn what we want to learn. Over 50 countries in Africa. At last count, it was 54. But over 50 countries in Africa. When the Ukraine war broke out, that's what the American mainstream government shoved down our throats. And then all of a sudden, we have to feel a certain way for Ukraine, with all due respect. We got 50 countries in Africa plus that we have just as much love, ought to have just as much love and concern about. From Nigeria, Uganda, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, Libya, Morocco, Egypt, that's across the top, Kenya, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Eritrea, 50 countries. We should know some of them. At this point in our lives, we should know other countries. And our children should know them. I remember the games we had as kids to learn how to read this and read that. We got to pass that on to our young people, including some work ethics. We just stopped taking pride in the things that matter. When I think about what our ancestors went through for the right to read, just to learn how to read, they could get killed. And so when people tell me, stop 54 countries, thank you, Michael, that our young people can't read, not to shame them. No, really, you're right. Don't shame the kids, shame the parents. Let me give you something from my ex-wife. She said, if you raise your children, I want you to catch this now. If you raise your children, you can spoil your grandchildren. But if you spoil your children, you will raise your grandchildren. That's what's happening out here. Family member called me, help so-and-so get a job at a law firm. I do what I do. I picked up the phone, blah, 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 boom. All right, you need to go down there Monday at 12 o'clock. Then the next question to me is, well, how will we get him there? And this was on the phone, but I looked at her like she was Scooby-Doo 12-karat crazy. Now, let me get this right. You want me to go get him the job, and then you want me to tell you how to get him there. What would your mother do? I'm going to tell you what my father would do. My father would say, son, walking ain't crowded. Okay, so you live all the way out there in the county. Okay, well, they have this invention. It's not all that new, but it's called the subway. We got smartphones and dumb as hell. We got Google at the tip of our fingers and dumb as all outdoors. Stop dumbing. Look, we about to go back to school. We're about to go back to school, and I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to tell you how we started this show off in case you missed it. I want you to get this quote. Got it from Barbara Robinson, former state senator. Excuses are tools of the incompetent which lead to monuments of nothingness. Damn. And those who indulge in them will be seldom capable of anything. Late is late. You want to be early? You want to be on time? You got to be early. That's what they say. And this is getting us ready for the back to school mentality. Be early. On time is late. Have your uniform. Remember what we used to do? You had your stuff laid out for the next day, especially if it was a special day. And that's where you learn a little bit of ironing skills. Ironing board, iron. Sometimes if it was a white shirt, you might have to put a towel over top of it so it's not to scorch it, just to check the temperature. We used to press our jeans. Ain't nobody wearing creases in jeans no more. Too much, except old heads. I don't know if anybody's using Niagara starch anymore, but you get the drift. We got away from basics. People can't boil an egg. Everybody want to go out for dinner. I went to a restaurant and a waiter didn't know the order of food. Yes, I'm cracking on everybody today. Appetizer, soup, salad, entree. These are basics. I ain't giving you the 10 course. Appetizer, soup, salad, entree. So if I order appetizer, Mr. Waiter, don't bring it out with my entree, you moron. If you're going to get into an industry, study the industry. Learn the history of it. Learn etiquette. Here's some basic stuff. I'll never forget it. I was about 16. I was with my dad at my grandma's house. Her table in the dining room. Her table was set. Might have been around Thanksgiving. And my father said something. He was a great teacher. This is how he caught my ear this time. He said, I think Granny said, Donnie boy, you know how to set the table? And I could hear him saying, he don't know how to set no table. They taught me something right there just by saying that. Because then I'm thinking, wow, I guess I never really did learn how to set the table. Just remember sitting down. But it's supposed to be fork, knife with the edge facing the plate, spoon. Fork, knife with the edge facing the plate. So this is the plate, spoon. And if you have 2 courses, you have 2 forks. Or you may have 2 spoons, or 3 forks and 3 spoons, or 4 forks and 4 spoons. Don't get complicated on a 10-course meal. You start from the outside. Fork all the way on the outside. If it's 10 forks, start on the outside. 10 spoons, start on the outside. That's it. Fork, knife, spoon. And if they're serving you steak, they're going to bring you around a steak knife. Basic etiquette, basic things that we need to know as we go through high school and start getting college experiences and traveling, prayerfully traveling to other countries. You definitely don't want to go to Mexico right now. They kidnapping Americanos down there. Gringos getting kidnapped down in Mexico. Stay out of Mexico. Cancel your trip to Mexico. And people the travel advisories. But etiquette, and it's international. It's universal. We need to learn these things. We need to know some basics. I've been to some church services and nobody know the songs, old people songs. Nobody know the songs. You ain't got to know the songs. You ain't got to be Christian. I'm fine. But what you going to call on when you have them dark nights? Grandma taught me number 325 in the Baptist hymnal. By and by, when the morning comes, when the saints of God are gathered home, we'll tell the story of how we've overcome. We'll understand it better by and by. We had to go to Vacation Bible School, 66 books of the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, 1st and 2nd. Yeah, then Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, the Pentateuch, blah, blah, blah. Learn something. If you say you're a Christian, what makes you a Christian? What do you know about the holy story? Do you believe it? Or maybe you're Muslim. But know something about what you are and what you stand for so that somebody else can't tell you. Know your family history. I tried Ancestry.com. I tried it because I'm a studious person. But they can tell me absolutely nothing about where I come from at the end of the day. I have to go out and find my ancestors, be them in Virginia, be them in Puerto Rico, or generations back in Africa. But learn what you can. Some people can't go back 20 generations. Some people can go back even further. And some of us can't go back 1 generation. But it's okay. But at least learn. Learn about your ancestors. Learn what your father and your grandfather and your grandmother. Learn what they did. Learn where they lived. Learn what industries they were in. Learn what churches they went to, what streets they lived on. And write it down so that you can effectively share it with your children. Because one day, those elders will be gone and you will want to pass on some of these lessons that they taught us. My dad told me about my great-grandma. Said she was Blackfoot Indian. Didn't know much more than that. So it's up to me to go and learn more about Molly Morton. Well, that's all I really wanted to talk about today. I'm going to give it to you one more time. Excuses are tools of the incompetent. used to make monuments of nothingness, and those who indulge in them are seldom capable of anything, Those who indulge in them will be seldom capable of anything. Incompetence. I don't want to be incompetent. I want to learn. Even politics. Do you know that we still have to vote for Westmore? The election is not over. Someone said this to me. They said, well, people don't know the general election is coming. My people know. Y'all know damn well the election is November the 8th. I know you know. And if you don't know now, you know. He won the primary. Now he got to go against the Donald Trump-backed candidate who's got to be, well, let me be nice. They ain't for black people. And what they're trying to do is start a race war here in Maryland. But it ain't going to happen because the white people here are much too smart for that foolishness. So Dan Cox going to get his ass whipped on November the 8th, up and down the street. I don't care what Trump did. And Trump might have trumped Hogan, but he won't trump us, not in Maryland, because too many of us. So make sure you vote on November the 8th. Make sure all the young people who have never voted vote in this election. What a great election. The election give us our first black governor, something some of us been fighting for all our lives. We got it. And I'm so grateful. Smart man, nice guy, beautiful family, married man. On his way to the White House, if you ask me. So, read some of your comments. That's all I got for today. Oh, Michael Haney. Michael Haney, that profile picture does not look like you. Reparations should be used to send our high school kids to Africa for educational experience. You know I agree with you. Betty Blaze. Here's a freebie. Don't go on Fox and let them exploit you. Don't go on Fox and let them exploit you. Did you see what happened to Trent Luther? Trent said he should be locked up, and Fox 45 make sure he got locked up. What, he got 12 years? At $672,000 in restitution? Hey, Trent, you'll know to shut up the next time. Away scot-free. Should have just. And who set him up? Freak Nasty Theroux, Freak Nasty Vignaraja, and Roy Hanna. That's what they did to that black man. They lynched the black man, just like Gail and Oprah did to that boy R. Kelly. He took cold advantage of that boy. Now he locked up for the rest of his life. Granted, he certainly needed to be somewhere. But black people, stop going on Fox and looking stupid. Don't go on Fox and say, you didn't know your kid had a 0.13 GPA. Don't go on TV. Ask somebody. Hey, my kid got a 0.13 GPA and Fox want to interview me. You think I should go on there? No, that's a bad idea because they're going to exploit you for at least 2 years. Common sense ain't that common. But if you don't know, ask somebody. You got smartphones. Ask Google, damn it. All right, I asked how many countries in Africa? 54, and these are the ones he says he could go on. Rwanda, Nigeria. Everybody knows Nigeria. And if you black and you don't know that Nigeria got more black people than any country in Africa, then you ain't black no more. Hand in your black card. If you know nothing about Africa, you got to know that the Nigerians are the most populous peoples. 200 million. That's half the size of the United States. Overall, Africa got about 1.1 billion people, as much as China. When China adds in some of those other Asian nations, they have a lot of people too. And India, if they added in Bangladesh and Pakistan, they probably got more people than everybody. But we ain't no slouch. And there's also a reminder that most of the people of the world are of color. But you never know that watching mainstream media. You figure that everybody in the world is white. Very small percentage. Very small percentage. That means that you got to get better organized. You got to get better organized.
I had to come in here and straighten out a couple of your facts with my hair not combed, etc., because you know you're doing such an excellent job.
Your hair's never combed.
Africa has 3.5 billion people.
3.5 billion?
3.5 billion.
3.5 billion. You got a double sound going on there. You trying to be fancy. Get rid of the headpiece.
Additionally, Africa has the richest person in the world, a couple of them. The richest. They have the money. 3.5 billion people in Africa and only 200,000 cases of death in COVID. And the United States has what? 30, was I right?
Keep going, I'm reading.
And Africa only had 200,000 cases of death during COVID, and we had almost 1 million.
What's the difference? What did they do that we didn't do?
They didn't medicinize, they didn't make medicine part of their economy and kill people to make money.
No, Michael, what numbers are you looking at? Hey, bro, if I tell you tomorrow Christmas, you look for Santa Claus. 1.5 billion, 1.4 billion as of today. 1.4 billion. I don't know what map you're reading. There are 8 billion people in the world. If you say it's 3.5 billion in Africa, you're saying half of them in Africa. And it's a big world. So go back and check your facts. But it's okay. We all make mistakes.
I had to come on here anyway, Donnie, because I just enjoyed what you were saying so much, particularly about our kids, man. That's the main thing, you know, and parenting. The profound thing that you said, that if we raise our kids right, we can spoil our grandkids. But if we spoil our kids, we'll be raising our grandkids. And that's what's happening now, man. We have no one to blame. We have no one to blame but what's going on with our kids now than us, either as parents or grandparents, man.
And we want to blame people. Mike, is it shaming when you say, I think anybody can go to college? I mean, why would I start saying, oh, hold up, our ancestors coming out of slavery, trying to learn how to read and write. Oh, snap, here come this slaver, don't want me to learn how to read and write. Oh, they found me reading. Then they beat you, lynch you, what have you. Why don't they want me to read? So now that I can read, I'm going to make excuses for not learning how to read.
Yeah, we can't blame the system. We got to blame ourselves. It's time for us to grab our kids. It's time for us to grab our kids and make our kids go grab our grandkids out of the streets and tell them bring their asses home. You know what I'm saying? If we don't want our kids murdered, up for murder, on the corners squeegeeing, then let's go get our kids. They our kids.
I know this lady got a dog. But she like to take pictures all over. And she's always complaining that a dog is tearing up stuff. Because you ain't never home. You always out taking pictures. And the dog act out. Ain't no different than our children. Maybe we on TikTok too much. Maybe we learning the two-step a little too much. Maybe we need to two-step our ass to a PTA meeting.
Yeah, we you know, the time to blame the system for our issues is over. We have to be accountable. It's time to go grab our kids off the corner. If we don't want to be yelling and jumping up and down at a funeral because poor Booby has been murdered and killed, go get Booby off the goddamn corner and bring him home. And we got to ensure that the judges and the legislature say when we whip our kid's tail and hit him in the head with a belt buckle, that we not going to jail. They'll send them to jail for stupid stuff, but for me, disciplining my kids,
mind your damn business. Mind your damn business.
Because that's what's missing.
Hey, let me tell you something. Call the police on my mother. Call the police on my mother. See, we got it all inverted. You don't let people who can't raise their own kids tell you how to raise your kid. It's gotten inverted. It's gotten twisted. As they say in the streets, we got it fucked up. Pardon my language. You gonna call the police on my mother? Where you gonna live at? You gonna be homeless. She not gonna like that at all. So you might as well get your little bag of stuff that she bought you together, because you leaving here.
The biggest expression I heard growing up consistently almost every day, I brought you into this world and I'll take you out. And
Period.
it was no questions whatsoever in the police community and the community in general that, you know, when your mother came to get you and she had a strap or a pancake turner, everybody watched and they laughed and you was humiliated to a point where you wouldn't do it again. And that's what's missing.
Also,
go get your kids. If you don't want your kids part of a stat, go get your kids. If you don't want to be going and burying your kids with money you don't have, you can't even afford to keep the lights on. How can you afford to pay for a funeral? Many of you. Go get your kids to go get your grandkids and bring their asses home.
I've been to too many funerals where it's very clear that somebody don't go to church. I've been to too many funerals where it's very clear that maybe Big Mama went to church, but them grandchildren ain't been to church because they don't even know the Lord's Prayer.
You know,
you know how to play a song, and then everybody's like, "Oh, I know that song." You start singing the song. That comes from some training. And maybe you ain't Christian, maybe you're Muslim.
Yeah, you
but
right.
Know something about what you supposedly believe in.
We got a show on the 28th of August that's going to talk about prayer in school and prayer in general. And if that's what's missing, the discipline in our kids' life on a daily basis, the discipline in our kids' life of having something to believe in other than the streets. The 28th, 6 p.m. on 60 Minutes in Black America on this news network, we're going to get real with what's real and what's wrong with our family structure, because we have lost our minds collectively.
So your mom's, tell me about a typical day in school for you, and the weekend before you could go outside. That's what I want to know. A typical day.
A typical day in school for me was putting a baked potato in the oven so that I could warm up, because I had to walk to school. I had to walk to Rockland Junior High on North Bend Avenue from Evanston Village every day, over 2 miles. I had to walk. And I better had gotten there on time. I walked to church. My mother said, "You see much more than me taking you, and plus I got stuff to do, but you better be there, and you better be there on time." Now, I cut up a bit when I got there, but I remember, man, my father came in his service uniform from Mondawmin Avenue recruiting station where he worked, man. And Mr. Knox, the principal, had told him that I hit the biology teacher with a wet wide, because I was just a Dennis the Menace, man. When I got home, man, I went down 10 flights of stairs, man. Had a black eye, and he still made me go to the Bullets game, man, that Friday evening with my eye, man. You know, he said nothing, because discipline was it. I didn't have any more problems after that, or they didn't have any more problems after that, because that's all I knew.
People have a tough time stomaching. A ass whipping might have saved our lives.
I know it saved mine from doing crazy stuff on many occasions.
I remember doing a show, Mike, and the mother of one of my college friends, not to put her out there, she said, "Donnie, I'm disappointed with what you're saying. You can't spank children. You can't beat little people." I said on the radio, this is when I was out on OLB, whip your kid's ass.
Miss
If
Cookie
you don't
Bates.
believe it for the police and the correctional officer.
Miss Cookie
I had
Bates.
Uncle work down the cut. And this is what Uncle Sammy said in no uncertain terms. You ready? don't come down here because I can't help you. Woo! I'm like 9 years old. Like, damn, what did I do? Didn't do nothing. But that's what he saw on a regular basis. And it kept him very serious. He was very serious. Uncle Sammy was no joke.
Wow.
Don't come down here because I can't help you. And I will honestly tell you, I felt like, well, I had no intentions on coming down there, but now I'm clear. I will be really alone. You won't. I was clear. He ain't helping you. I had no thoughts of going to no penitentiary.
That's a reality.
But he made it absolutely clear. Don't come there because I can't help you.
Miss Cookie Bates, my next door neighbor, you know, whipped my ass on many occasions because she had permission to do so. When my mother was at work as a policewoman in the city of Baltimore, and we were at home alone because we could be, and she said, "Didn't your mother tell you to be home at 6 o'clock when them lights came on? Didn't your mother tell you?" And she hit me in the head with a strap. And if my mother found out what she did, that I did get hit by a neighbor, because there were several neighbors that had the authority to whip me while my mother was out struggling to keep the lights on.
See,
if my
that's
mother
when
found
we
out,
still had love and trust.
that's love, man. Love and care and concern.
Because now a ghetto ass person will say, "Don't say nothing to my child." Which brings me to this point I got to share with you. This is a culminating point. The late Reverend Earl Gilliard. Big ups. He was a photo bomber too. Last time I saw him, he photo bombed me down in Eastern Shore. But God rest his soul. I watched him preach the funeral of a gang member. And if you knew Earl Gilliard, Mike, you got to know he ain't sugarcoating for nobody. He said something like this: "I don't know why you're crying. You knew what he was into. You knew how he was going to die. I don't know what you're crying for. You know what he was into, and you knew this was bound to happen." This is a kid that was trying to be a member of the gang. Interesting thing about it was this kid lived in Baltimore County. One of them county kids that would do anything for some street credibility in Baltimore City. Do you want street cred or do you want to be alive, son? Do you want street cred or do you want to be alive? I want to be alive. You want to survive this experience. That's what we want. We want you to survive. We want you to come on. We want you to survive the police encounter, the street encounter, the stick up it. We want you to survive and make it back home. So then we can talk about it. We can debrief. We can come up with a better plan.
Donnie, you are so right and real. I remember grabbing my son. Me and my son scrapped almost on a daily basis. When I say scrap, in the street, torn pants, fighting, because I refused to allow him to go where he wanted to go. And it was either save his life or save my face. You know what I'm saying? I had no choice.
I'm going to have to take that ass whipping if I don't dump right.
I'm 50-something years old, man.
My son.
I'm 50-something years old, right? And he's going out there, you know, fentanyl with the street kids, crazy, and he's in high school. What am I to do? I had to do what I had to do.
I've stepped to the corner. I've stepped to the corner in front of the other hustlers. You ain't got no say so in it. Mind your damn business.
Yeah, and that's
my child. It's my child.
Nah, I snapped.
I'm that daddy that's been to the corner.
We in the streets rolling because he's coming home, and that's what I'm imploring these parents to do. The grandparents to go get your kids, and you and your kids go get your grandkids, because that's who's here acting up. If your kids is out there squeegeeing, which they probably are, if that's a problem, then go in the corner and tell them bring their ass home. They're going to school. And if they don't, then you got to take a belt buckle. You got to do what you got to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. All I'm going to tell you is that don't make it my problem because you refuse to do what you
Oh,
got. You don't have
hold up.
the courage.
Hold up. Now, you didn't just bust the squeegee kids in the head. Let me
No,
finish.
no,
Oh,
Johnny. Let me
okay,
finish.
let me
I didn't
finish.
bust no
This is my
squeegee
show,
kids in the
goddammit.
head
I
because
was sitting at the
this is
light, and
our
guess who
show.
come up
You
to me?
always said this
I
is
was
our show. This is our
no,
show. It
you
ain't your
started your
show.
own show at 7:30. This is my show, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock.
This is our show.
I'm
There's
at
no
the corner
longer.
of North and 83, and who should come up to me but a white panhandler? It was the white panhandler and the brother from the Mosque number 6 Nation of Islam with the bean pies. North and 83, North and Mount Royal. It was the white homeless guy, and it was the brother from the Nation of Islam. The brother from the Nation of Islam had the bean pies. I couldn't even get to him because the white guy with the sign, I swear the beans to you, he started break dancing. He started break dancing around his car for $1. Michael, it blew my mind. He break dancing. The white guy was break dancing yesterday. I synced it with my own eyes. He was gonna get that $1. Now that's harassment too, because he damn near got hit. He was so high, damn near walked into traffic. But you don't hear nobody say nothing about that on the news. Get them damn squeegee kids a few dollars and shut up and go about your damn business. You knew they was out there. They probably your own damn kids anyway.
Johnny,
Don't
I
mess
don't
with the squeegee
disagree
kid.
with you. I don't disagree. Hear me out. I've been down at North in 83 with those kids and talked to those kids.
Give them respect. They'll give you respect.
Some of them belong in school. They gave me a multitude of respect, man. They talked to me on the camera for your network. Your network. Or is it our network?
We will not claim that because we got word that you were paying people.
What'd you say? Donnie, didn't you just tell me give them a few dollars?
You can't say that as a news outlet. Hey. You can't tell people you paying them.
Hey, listen, man, them kids.
Yeah, give them some damn money.
The point of it is, if your kids belong in school and you know your kids at 15 years old are down at North in 83, go get your damn kids and take them to school, man. It's just that simple. However, you got to take them to school. Stop blaming Dr. Santelises. Stop blaming Brandon Scott for the failure of you as a parent. We got a large agenda for them of what it is that they need to do. Stop asking people to parent your damn kids. And I'm going to hold you accountable for it. And especially if they come in my neighborhood. You know, so we got to stop passing the buck and passing the blame because it's easy to do so. And start raising our own. And like you said, we have done a miserable job raising our kids because you and I are grandparents, as many of those that I see on this viewership today, we're grandparents now, right? So like you said, possibly we did a miserable job of raising our kids. And so now we're participating in the lives of our grandkids because of the job that we didn't do raising our kids.
Well, let me say it like this. Some parents get an A, some parents get an F, but it doesn't matter because we're all in this together.
That's what I'm saying.
So parents who got an A, their children and grandchildren are in the same circles with parents who may get an F or an incomplete at parenting.
Hey,
so
instead of calling Fox 45, call me and ask me, how can I get my kid off the street? How can I do something? Ask each other for advice in terms of how we can manage our kids. Why is my kid only reading at the 4th grade level? It ain't Dr. Santelises' fault that your kid only reads at the 4th grade level. I was reading at the 4th grade level in the 1st grade because my mother made me read the News American and she didn't let me look at TV until after I cleaned up. You know, what kind of stuff you got going in your house that your child has gotten a certificate or a graduation diploma and can't get a job because they can't read above the 4th grade? That ain't the system's problem. That's your problem and your fault.
Hey, she nailed it. Parent, there you go. There you go. I ain't your damn friend. And listen, parents, you may have to practice this speech in the mirror before you go give it to your kid. I'm not your damn friend. I don't care if you like me. I'm not here for you to like me. I'm
They
here to get you to
really,
a point of
they really
self-sufficiency.
understand that when you go and talk with them with a belt buckle in your hand.
I don't care if you like me. I don't need you to like me. I need you to survive.
I don't want to bury my kids. And so therefore, I don't want to bury my kids, particularly because of some stupidity of the streets. So therefore, I was willing to sacrifice whatever it is I had to sacrifice in order to ensure that I wouldn't lose them to the streets, man. And it was rough.
Did you
Do
ever
hear
feel
me?
like you was your grandmother's peer?
My grandmother? Are you kidding me? What are you talking about?
I never felt like I was my grandma's peer. It was always that degree of separation. And then it dawned on me, because I think I'm slick as a little kid. It comes to me, dude, not only is she raising you, did you forget she raised your father? Any game you could possibly think to bring grandma, she's seen this thing 50 years ago, but you think you slick. I got to go to Jimmy Britton, the book of Jimmy Britton. It was his birthday yesterday, I think. Happy birthday.
Yeah, Jimmy Britton's birthday. Just texted me a couple minutes ago. His birthday was yesterday.
Happy birthday, Mr. Jimmy. He said
Bob Wallace's birthday was yesterday.
Really?
Yep.
That's the guy ran for mayor.
Yeah, Bob Wallace.
He said the slickest thing you could ever do is stop being slick. The slickest thing you could ever do is stop being slick.
Donnie, you know what somebody told me, which was profound around what you say? They said, Mike, people see what you're doing. They just don't say nothing, man. You think that you know everything, but people watching you, they just ain't saying anything. They're going to let your stupid self hang yourself and not say anything. So I give people credit for being just as smart as me and realize that people watch what I'm doing. They see what's happening. You know, they just wonder whether I outslick myself.
A drug dealer told me this, especially as I was overcoming crack, dope, and coke. He said, it ain't what you do when everybody's looking. It's what you do when nobody's looking. It ain't what you do when everybody's looking. It's what you do when nobody's looking. When you think you all, it's just you and God.
That's real, Donnie. And in Baltimore, y'all go look in the alleys. Go look in your back of the alleys to see what's really going on in your neighborhood.
This dude's pulled in front of my door yesterday. He walked, and I see he got a bill. And I see it looked like he's chopping it up. I'm walking the dog in the house. I'm saying to myself, I know this Negro ain't get ready about to bip in front of my door. Not only did he bip, he threw his vial down in front of my door. I said, I know you gonna pick that. I know you ain't lost your goddamn mind. People
he has lost his mind.
Dope in public now? And you mean to tell me all that Ivan Bates can talk about is the squeegee kids?
If Ivan Bates, the only thing I ask is Ivan Bates do not prosecute parents that corporally punish their kids. We must ensure that Ivan Bates, in order to get a sense of order back on the streets, we have to insist that Ivan Bates, if they talked about low-level crime not being prosecuted, but they're going to take a parent up before the judge for whipping their kid's tail, for not going to school, except then we're as a society, something's wrong. But Ivan Bates has got to come on this show and says, I will not prosecute parents for corporal punishment for instilling discipline in their kids. That's what we need to have Ivan Bates tell us. Ivan, do you hear me? Come on, man.
Michael Haney, thank you for joining us this morning. My name's Donnie Glover.
Always a pleasure, Donnie. Always a pleasure.
For the BlackUSA.News Network. Mr. Honolulu is coming up at 10. If you don't know, we have Mr. Michael Haney Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. I come on at 9 a.m. and Mr. Honolulu comes on at 10 a.m. and then all the way live from Los Angeles, Troy Rollins at 12 noon. Do like and share these broadcasts. If you want to be a guest on the show, just reach out to one of us. Mike, how can people reach you?
Reach me at mhaney at MarylandHospitalityTraining.com. M. Haney, MarylandHospitalityTraining.com. Wake up, Baltimore. Wake up.
If you need me, just call me 443-858-2684. Special thank you to Brother Leroy. He came to my sister's home going.
Dr.
Hey,
Leroy.
Let me tell you something. If I don't go to it, I hope none of y'all die, because I ain't going to no more damn funerals. I'm done. I never need to see another funeral. We got to stop letting undertakers plan our family reunions. We got to stop letting undertakers plan our family reunions. We got to stop.
That should be. You need to get. You need to get Von Green and Al on your show and talk about how this has affected our community has affected their businesses, man. Because I'm sure they've got some compelling stories to tell.
Al, while I was driving around the Maserati, I can see how it's impacted his business. My name's Donnie Glover. And
Donnie, love you, man. This is awesome, man. This is what it's all about.
Couldn't do it without you, Mike Haney.
Wake up, Baltimore. Wake up.